Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Live Reality Games podcast. Um, I'm joined with Tara again today because I
Yes.
don't know where Vince. I actually don't know where Vince has gone to. He's run away from us. Um, I don't know if he's coming back. I'm not sure. So you got me again,
Outrageous.
and Tara. Woo,
Woo!
fun. Hella
Woo!
fun. Kick off where we left off. No. Today we're going to be discussing the last episode, Final 8, Episode 10, I believe, of Backyard Survivor Season 4 Redemption. Um, what is your thoughts on the episode that's happened? Like,
Sure.
just
I mean,
give me a general overall thoughts.
overall thoughts. Rocks seemed inevitable. You know,
Yeah.
were you feeling the same way? Actually, no.
See,
Going into
no,
this last episode, you didn't expect it. Actually, didn't
no,
you?
I didn't. I really
Yeah.
expected somebody to flip, and it's even more boring,
Hmm.
but like good boring. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to see.
Here we
I
go.
don't want to see the. I don't want to see the two tribes just going against each other. That's boring. Like
I
I
think
don't
it's
want to
good
see.
for narrative, though. It's good for
Oh, it's
like
great for narrative.
storytelling.
Oh
Yeah,
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 the story in this season is amazing, but like the
yeah.
gameplay is not. Like from that
I
aspect,
thought it
I
was.
think they could have
Huh.
changed it up. Personally, yeah.
Who? Okay. What do you think? Could have been some other options that could have played out.
Well, Sal is clearly on the bottom of his four. He has an
Hmm.
idol as well,
He's in a tricky position.
right? Sal could easily get himself to the final four, potentially with two yellow, two red, because he has the idol.
Hmm.
He can use it to his advantage to then
Yeah.
blindside next tribal council with the idol, still put in a 3-3 motion, but then have three control with Kiara and Joe and whatever.
Hmm.
So he
Yeah.
had the option to really change it to be better for himself, more than better for his yellow tribe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I think though, if he had played the idol, it would have just given him one less round of like the definite survival.
no, it's not. It's not about him playing the idol. He could have got away with this
Oh,
without
okay.
playing it. Still, he
Okay.
could have
Okay.
just.
Okay. If he
He could
flipped.
have. Yeah, if he flipped and said, "Look, guys, I'm flipping. I know I'm on the bottom of these three ladies. I'm not going to make it. Let me work with you guys." They would
So
have
who
ate
should
him up.
he have gotten them? Who should he have gotten Red Tribe to put their votes on?
Probably
Because
Val.
they were on him, on Valentina.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think that's the only thing that sort of makes sense. Then he can work with the red four, work with the red four.
Mm,
Play the idol on somebody who's going to be blindsided next tribal. Then you're on a 3-3.
mm.
Um, and then they're going to be able to pull a number across because they're not going to want to go to the rocks at 6. I wouldn't think.
Imagine 2 rocks in one fucking season. Oh no. Oh no.
That's the
Don't
only thing that
even.
makes sense in my brain. I
Oh,
don't think rocks right now was the
can't
smartest
take that.
option. Personally, I don't think it's
Was
the
it
smartest
smart
option.
for anyone in particular? I think it was smart for like Matt
Smart for
King
Marty. Yeah,
to attract the votes onto him, and even Sal, like both of them having the confidence in letting it play out like that. It means they both had enough faith in like either side to, which is kind of crazy that Salvador felt comfortable enough to
do you think though,
be the
like,
targeted
yeah,
vote, right? That's crazy.
with Sal, I believe it's a better option. Like, as much as I was saying, like, just a second ago, that I don't think Sal made the right move. If he had to make a move without using Idol, this would be the next one that he could have done.
Yeah,
And I think he'd done that really well. With Matt C, though, he sort of was forced to just trust.
yeah.
He can't go
But
to the
I
other
think
tribe
it's
and
a lot
flip because they
easier.
were voting him.
I think it was easier for the Birac Four to trust one another. Like I think they
Yeah, it
would have
was.
all gone to rocks for each other, and so they could all take solace in that. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. Like of all the people that Yellow could have gone to Roxfort in their own tribe. Sal seems like the scariest. Who the fuck is Benjamin Schneider? In the comments.
No idea.
Who the fuck is that?
Hello, Ben, whoever you are.
What the fuck is Maverick Cup Series? Get the hell out of here, Benjamin Schneider. Who is he?
He might be part. I don't know.
What is that? Ben.
Tara doesn't like seeing new faces. Anyway.
No. I'm kidding, Benjamin. I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, really? I didn't
Wait,
realize
what?
live reality games had a car.
What, like Mario Kart or
No, like an actual racing car.
what?
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know that was a thing. There you go. You just disrespected one of our.
No, I like him. I like this guy. I want to know more about Ben Schneider. But his little profile picture's a little a wee person.
Like a wee character.
Okay, wait. No, okay. Back to the episode.
Yeah. I actually have an Oscar, by the way. You'll come on one day.
Get Oscar on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. The episode was great.
We can't do this again. We have guests this time. We have guests.
Oh, okay. Lost my train of thought. Let's talk about the challenge. Because it was touchy subjects. Something that you've won in the past.
Yeah.
Yep. What's your thoughts of it as a challenge? I personally dislike it as a challenge. Like as a reward challenge, yeah, give it to me any day. As an immunity challenge, what? Because you know stuff about people, you deserve immunity. I don't think that.
I think I like it for quite a few reasons because I think of all challenges that can be played in Survivor, touchy subjects is the challenge that has the most effect on the overall game, which I can see the argument for why that's a problem, like in the sense where like if you want to see challenges to be a separate thing to the rest of the game, but I do like how well it integrates into the game. Like, have you ever watched the reality TV show The Genius?
Yes, I've heard of it. I've watched a couple episodes.
So what I really like about the show, and I don't know if anyone else here has watched it, but it's similar to like Survivor or Big Brother, where you're constantly, voting people out of a house. But all the challenges are very integrated into the strategy of each round. And I think it like makes for some really interesting dynamics. And something like touchy subjects, I think is like the epitome of a challenge that if it's in play in that round, it affects everything. There is a huge ripple effect because suddenly people that are seen as threats purely just for like their like, I don't know, strong muscles and like good athleticism, it might not just be them that are at the, the center of the spotlight for being a challenge threat. Someone like Kiara won this challenge, but then suddenly it paints her as a social threat, but you still get other people getting painted as strategic threats like Marty Ching. I don't know. I think it brings an interesting new element into the game. And I do prefer this version of touchy subjects to the version we did in Melbourne Survivor with the sabotage element. Correct, because then you can game. There's an extra layer of everything. Like it's the level where you have to start thinking about how you can not upset the wrong people, and like one side both sides worked together with each other to eliminate one player at a time, except someone fucked that up at some point. Who was that? Yeah. Who fucked up the strategy? Someone did at one point when they should have just eliminated someone. Oh, right. Kiara should have.
Yeah, she should have just eliminated.
Rachel.
Yeah,
I think
instead she went
Rachel.
and and then instead
They
and then
didn't even come back
went
to
went and
haunt
hit
her
Josh.
because Josh does
No.
his menacing walk. Dun, dun, dun. It looks like he's coming back for Kiara, but then he just gets Val.
Do you think? Like obviously Kiara's gonna win this one. When I went to this challenge, like Kiara's won, only because
Yep.
only because she has like such a big social like game with most people in the game at the moment. Like she's the most liked of everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, you can
and
win it without being liked.
yeah, it's
Like
fair.
me.
That's fair.
I wasn't liked, and I still won it.
I just don't know why anybody didn't target Kiara, just to like shake things up a bit, because she really
Yeah.
is the person holding that yellow tribe together.
I think a lot of the Birak 4 feel like they could potentially work with Kiara at some point, so maybe they don't want to burn that bridge. Of like all the yellows, I guess it's like her and Salvador that have the biggest opportunity to work with Birak members. So I think maybe they want to preserve that. I don't know. Maybe there's different rationale. I'm trying to think what other rationale it would be, but I don't know.
Well, the only thing I can really think of is like, if you look at potential final 3 combinations now after this vote, Kiara's with the women in the yellow tribe. Like, she's with Joe and Val any day of the week. She's not taking Sal for any reason.
Yeah.
And I doubt she'll take a red as well, because they will get more votes than herself. Purely because they made it to the end from that situation. That's why I just don't understand why nobody can see that. Or if they can see that, why has nobody tried to get rid of it? Why has nobody brought that up in conversation? Like, they've brought up, the girls are together. That's all we've heard, but we haven't heard of anybody trying to gun for one of the girls. Like, why did they go for Sal this time? I understand that he played an idol last round, I get that. But Sal is on the outs of them 3 women, and they would know that. So going for Sal, to me, makes no sense. You attack the main alliance. You don't attack the stragglers off the end. Like, it doesn't do anything.
Well, I mean, I do think there is some rationale to targeting Salvador purely because it's someone who I don't think Sal would be angry at them for, or I mean, I don't think anyone would be that angry, but like, I think he would be able to understand if people went for him first because he has just been at the center of the spotlight. It's like less there's going to be less negative blowback from popping him early, I think, in terms of like it keeps everything else a little more pure because it puts him like at a clear bottom of the pecking order when he was already there anyway, so it doesn't actually make a difference.
Yeah, I guess so. I just wish somebody would have popped their own team members just for something, just for like.
You just always writing. You need to write like Backyard Survivor fan fiction.
I do.
Get the Wattpad out. Yeah.
That's what I reckon. I want to see something. Like, we're not seeing it. Like, if I was a jury member right now, I'd be so bored.
I don't know. They just got to watch, Raw.
Like, look, yes, they got to watch some cool things. I get that. But as far as like, there is no deceiving at all, and I don't know. That's a big part of the game. Like,
I think you're right that there is less deceiving than you typically see in a lot of Survivor, but I would say there is an interesting amount of persuasion involved in this game. I would say there's a lot more persuasion than there is deception a lot of the time. At least what we're seeing on screen. We're seeing people pull each other in at the right times, like people hustling for votes. But I'm sure there is more deception than what we're seeing on screen. Like those lies you have to tell just to maintain, other shit at the same time. I just think it's not making the edit, which is interesting.
I don't know. I'm just waiting for that moment, and I just really want it to happen because I think with that moment, this season could be amazing. Like, it is amazing already, but I think if there was a moment like that in the season where like, Joey votes, like if Joey votes Kiara for Final 4, done. I am done. Like, that's amazing. Like, like If something like that happens, I'd love it so much. This season would be like worst season of all time. But that's what I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
something like that. I think it might happen.
Betrayal. I think. Well, I think
We
vote
need to see
number
it. I
7
think.
is next.
Yeah.
Votes at 7 are always pretty interesting.
Yeah. I
So
want to see it.
maybe.
Like that's what I
I
want.
think it's the sort of thing that happens like in a cast like this where it's been whittled down to like these two factions. It's the sort of thing you're going to see
This is
before
what we
the
want.
end, but it takes time. It takes time. I think everyone in the back of their heads are probably weighing up the pros and cons of moving forward with their pre-existing alliances. I think in the preview for next episode, it looks like Kiara was tossing up between whether she should move forward with her original yellows or whether she should consider switching things up and working with Rachel or something. I don't know. I think I'm vaguely remembering that's what's in the preview.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
that's something at least
there
people
was
are
talk of
toying
that, yeah.
with. I think everyone's
Yeah.
toying with these things. It's just whether or not they'll follow through with anything.
Oh, we know it's not going to happen. Like,
Do we? I don't know.
at the current moment, I would say yes, we do know. Nothing because
Yeah.
nothing really has happened. Like,
Hmm.
what Sal changed his vote
See.
to Val, but didn't count anyway because
yeah. I guess that's like one of the only times. But I mean, yeah. And the only time
That's like-
Yellows really turned on itself was when they had no other option but to do so.
Yeah, the game
Split
sort of
cycle.
forced it, right?
Mm.
The game forced 2 yellow people to go home. Would be sitting here with 6 yellow if that wasn't the case right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that's not the case because this is definitely more compelling than that. Let's
Yes,
count our
yeah.
blessings, you know.
Yes. Let's be thankful for the Ghost Island twist that I don't think I'd ever say that in my life.
I liked how it played out this season though.
I liked how it played. Yeah, I
between
liked how it
two-
played out, but I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't like when, like, I understand that like 2 people have to go home, but do 2 tribals back to back without an immunity challenge or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I vibe it. I vibe what you're saying.
Yeah. Let's answer Amy's question.
Ooh. That's a
The
good
biggest
question.
flirt was a funny question.
Yeah, I saw Michael got a vote. I thought it was going to be like a clean sweep. Who voted? Was it Valentina that voted for Michael? What's going on?
I think
Is
so.
Michael flirting with Valentina? Well, like what?
Maybe-
What are we not seeing? What are we?
Maybe Valentina remembers when Michael rang
helped Julie up the hill.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. That's very flirtatious.
that's where the flirting started. That's where the flirting started with Michael. Right from the start.
Wow. All right.
That's what we needed. We needed that. But Josh is clearly the biggest flirter this season by far.
If Matua was in the game, he would be in contest.
Matua needs to come over to Australia and play some Australian LRGs. I reckon he'd do great.
Oh, that would be content.
It would be content.
Mm-hmm.
Tara versus Matua again. That'd be great.
Oh God. No, we've made up. When we played Thingy-Majig together. The one Salvador. What's the one fucking Eli did? OSM. That Salvador also won. That's when Matua and I
funny
made
thing
up.
about Eli. I might just talk about Eli for a sec. He has
Eli.
yeah, just for a second. Eli has created a Survivor Sydney live reality game. And it's just been put into like the local newspaper, which is pretty cool. So congrats to Eli for happy for him to go along with that. Hopefully it goes all well for him, and we wish him the best. Who knows? We might be podcasting one day. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but you never know. So let's talk about rocks.
Okay.
What would you go to rocks here?
Depends who I am in the situation. I think
If you're in the middle of an alliance that's not being targeted, somebody like
you're
Michael
saying
or Josh.
I would go to Rocks. I don't like the idea of going to Rocks. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would try, if I ever thought Rocks was something potentially on the horizon, leading up to that moment, I would like to think that I would set up my game in such a way where Rocks wouldn't be necessary. I think I would try pull the Marty Ching and Sal here and try get them to put votes on me so that I would be immune, or definitely at like final 8, try beast mode and get an immunity. But in this scenario, if things were going the way they were, I think I would go to Rocks in this situation. I think so. What about you?
Nah, I'd flip on my alliance any day of the week. I'm sorry. I'd rather be 5th than 8th.
So risky though. I feel like flipping is more risky.
But in saying that though, we do have there are some options that you can get out of this and still be okay further down the track too.
Oh sure. I just think it's not in a red member's best interest to do anything but go to Rocks.
Yeah, the odds are better on the yellow side because of Kiara having.
Yeah, the odds are better for them to go to Rocks as well. Like it's kind of a tricky situation for all the members of Birak. You know, I think
yeah, exactly.
That's why I think Matt probably played it the best a red could, and that's by attracting all the votes onto him anyway. But I don't think he like the fact that the votes exactly. That's what I mean. Like the fact that all the votes could come his way that easily after touchy subjects, like just shows that he didn't really intentionally do it because he seemed so shocked in touchy subjects when everyone was like, he's the most strategic and whatever the other one was that he got as well. So it definitely wasn't like intentional, but you know.
Do we call it a play though? Because I don't really call it a play if you're bound to.
No, I guess not. But I think it's like he didn't try push the votes off of him. So I think that is the play. Like not the getting the votes, but not pushing them off.
Yeah.
I think there is that's the play because by knowing that your tribe will go to Rocks for you and you're immune, that is the best place you want to be.
The only thing you could really do is try to misstep your opposition for. So like would be to talk to Joe and maybe confuse Joe about the vote.
Yes.
Somebody who's not. Yeah, somebody that's not like the best at the game, and she even admits it. And somebody that's not like that confident with like the voting cycle and stuff, and trying to confuse them about the vote, maybe.
Also, that does actually bring up something I wanted to bring up. So you know how at Tribal Council, Ching was like, he was kind of like pitching that. What's going on? He was like pitching that, like people, like if he's voted out, then people like Michael and Sal are next. Okay, so he was pitching. If you're pitching it at that tribal, what exactly is he pitching? Like, is he pitching to Sal to flip? But then Sal also already knows he's getting the votes. So if Sal flipped, he would be voting himself out. And so it almost seems like an act of like bad faith on Matt's part. Like if I was Sal, I would read that from Matt and be like, hold on. Okay, you're saying like you need like I need you around to use you as a threat, but you're telling me to move my vote when I know I'm getting the vote. So you're telling me to move my vote and let myself be voted out. So if I was Sal, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck? Because you're like he's like
it doesn't make any sense for him to like. I think he's just trying to say his last words.
Is he pitching?
Yeah, I actually think he thinks he's going home. Yeah, I actually think he might be thinking that he's going home at this point.
So maybe he thinks Sal was already going to. No. Who would be flipping on it? Who is he pitching to? Michael?
Yeah, that's it. Like he's not pitching anyone because the vote is on Sal and Marty. Like you can't pitch to anybody. Like you got to get one of the two voted out.
It was just more like a moment of like.
I do agree with. I agree with Liz here. We finally agree on something. Sal should have flipped beforehand and voted out like Joe or Val.
But then who does Sal like have that can trust him anymore? Because he's already burned the Reds earlier in the game by earning their trust, but then not working with them and betraying them in that sense. And then if he betrays the Yellow as well after he already betrayed Birak, like who can he move forward with any degree of trust? I actually think he did the right thing. Now that more I think about it, sticking with Yellow, because you need to just that was an opportunity to prove himself, and he proved himself to Yellow,
Let's be honest though, Sal is probably the biggest challenge threat out of the Yellow 4. So going into the final challenge,
the Yellows, yeah.
Going into the final challenge, he's potentially going to win it if he sticks with that
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. There's so many like ifs and buts. But does he win against them? I don't think he does. I think because he's screwed over so many people, he doesn't deserve his vote. Like if he gets with Kiara at the final 4.
If him and Kiara at the end, that would be kind of cool though, right? That would be a cool
Kiara would. I think Kiara nearly clean sweep it.
Oh, I agree. I think Sal still has some good cases to pitch though in that scenario. Even if he was hypothetically a runners up. Can we talk about like, one thing I've struggled this game as I am Edgic God. I know actually. Well, I've demoted myself to just God. Because it's Edgic God.
How is that a demotion?
You
got your cousins and you got your first cousins. Yeah.
Other than like the obvious, like Joe and Valentina, do you think there is anyone getting an edit that looks like it could be a runners-up edit? Because I'm struggling to be like,
I personally don't think anybody else in the game will get 0 votes other than them 2. I think Sal, if he makes it with any of the red, will get some votes. I think Sal, if he makes it with Kiara, has no chance.
Yeah. But I don't mean that. I mean like edit wise, like based on the. Has there been foreshadowed losing final tribal council?
No, nobody really does, do they? It's actually really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to choose because at the moment there is 4 to 5 potential winners out of 7.
I would say 5.
I would nearly at this point I would have to say that
the 2.
Yeah, except the 2. But I actually would nearly put Marty in that spot now too.
I think after the trouble, I kind of agree. He's pretty low on my Edgic ranking now.
Yeah, after this episode, because he's been seen as this person, and like I've said before, if your name's out there, it's out there forever. It's not looking good for him now. Like I really had some like high hopes for him, but I don't think at the moment he has much of a chance.
I'm on a similar page.
I really think it's out of potentially 3 in Josh, Rachel, and Kiara. That'd be my best guess of winning.
But if any of them get to the end with Joe and Val, so that still keeps things open for Salvador as well.
Yeah, correct. Like say for example, it's Marty, Val, and Joe. Like it'll never happen because I don't see that happening at all. But if that happened, then Marty would win in that instant. Right?
You reckon?
Actually, no. I really want Joe to get to the final 3.
Joe's edit is pretty good.
It's actually getting a lot better, and she's.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to the end with Val and Kiara and be like, look, it didn't take me 2 times to get here. It only took me 1 time, because it's taken Val and Kiara 2 times to get to the final. So,
if Joe just shit talked, that'd be so funny.
I'd love it so much. Look, they had to come back. I didn't have to come back. I came here in 1 foul swoop. My name hasn't been written down. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of earlier when we were saying you could potentially see like Marty Ching as a losing finalist. I forgot what episode it was, but I had like something in my head where I started thinking like, hold on, like his entire edit has been him always like working in tandem with someone else and like tempering that balance. And then what if no, see the problem is the cast already gives him a lot of strategic credit, even though he hasn't actually pulled off too
Anything.
much successfully. Like
He hasn't pulled off.
he's actually tried a lot of things. And he's
Yeah.
had a lot of, ideas, but I don't think many of them have worked. But like he's always shown in the edit like warning like one of his like partners, like oh, don't underestimate Kiara, or like he'll be like extroverts never work in Survivor. He was seen saying to Michael, and he
Yeah.
said like he
So
would say to
why
Rachel early game like don't freak out, like it's okay.
why are them parts in the edit? This is what I want to try and work out.
Right. Well,
Because there's
that's what I'm
also
saying.
there's
Yeah,
also the part of
yeah.
him talking to Abby, like trying to get Abby off the block. Why?
Right.
Why is that part of the edit?
Because
Like,
they're showing him trying at something but failing. You know what I mean?
yeah. So is that like foreshadowing him trying Final Council and failing? Like,
Maybe it's just who Matt is, just trying and failing. But I don't know. Like the one thing I was
they actually do work, and if he still had his extra vote this round, I mean, come on, like that would have been epic.
I think yeah. I mean,
Even
yeah,
the first round, in merge 6-6.
Yeah, first merge
7-6.
round would have been an even better time to probably play that if hypothetically he had it. Oh no,
So
the
if
thing
you
I was
have a
going to say
chance to
about
get one,
Chico,
get it. If you have a chance,
yeah,
it's worth it.
yeah.
It is worth it
Yeah.
sometimes, and sometimes it will pay off.
I don't know. I'm still in two minds about that round for Michael, but I guess we can talk more about that when Michael gets here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up later.
Because I need to talk to him about it, because I was like 100% for it.
And I was like, maybe. I don't
know. You're in that position of like your vote doesn't count anyway, so you may as well bloody get it.
That's why I went into that episode tribal like thinking he was going to play it, but then at the same time I still kind of like understand not playing it, just so no one suddenly is like, okay, why is there a vote missing? Like, what's sacrifice a vote? Like, what do they gain what do you gain when you sacrifice a vote? And an extra vote is a reasonable deduction.
Correct. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope that they I hope people look back and we get like a Ghost Island version of Backyard Survivor and Michael's extra vote comes up.
I mean, that's reasonable.
We got to see it played, and Liz's dinner plate idol comes back to say hello with half a super idol, not the other half, just the first half.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
So, looking at the final 7. 4 yellow, 3 yellow and Sal. And you got the 3 red. So you got 2 strong alliances of 3.
Yeah.
With Sal potentially being the flip.
Yeah. Well, Kiara's a possible flip too. I think if she did, it would work against her, though. I don't think it would work in her favor if she did.
I did forget about the soap idol.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to try anything, right? At that point.
Yeah.
Try anything to, like... If that, say, for example, swayed one person, like, swayed, like, Joe or Val, because they seemed, like, not particularly happy with the vote and how it's going, and if they accidentally swapped their vote because of that, I mean, it worked. I'm just thinking like so the best way to play the soap idol that round would be to just like imply that someone has an idol, right, by like showing like the thingy, but like but I think they're still going to take the risk of playing the just voting as a block wherever they vote. But then everyone, I don't know. I don't know how. The
I
poor,
feel like they
the
didn't
poor
navigate
soap
the soap idol like it, because I do assume like Josh and Rachel were like insinuating to the other side that there was in fact another idol in play, which is believable
Yeah.
because there was no merge idol yet, to be seen. So
Yeah.
I think um we didn't see anything from like Kiara, Valentina, or Joe or Sal. Well, Sal
No.
wouldn't need to because he knows he has the idol. But we didn't see anything from the other three of like, okay, maybe they do have an idol. Should we be more covert with where our votes are going? But like everyone seemed to know the votes were going
Yeah.
into Ching. So
That doesn't make any sense to me, does it? Like that's
well, yeah,
why
I
would they
don't
be
know.
so open about it? Like I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna put him on Ching, but then put him on Josh or Michael or something. Right? Wouldn't that
Yeah,
be
well, you'd
that'd
think
be
they
the right
should have done that.
that'd be the right play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they definitely should have done that. I will say, I think the three of those girls, they are definitely more hesitant to make a move, like make moves that make sense. Like for example, like going back to that split tribal, Ching had a good point that he was saying that round. Like it would be a reasonable idea to keep Abby around and take out Valentina instead. And I think we
Yeah.
all agree that that would have been a decent play for people
Yeah.
like Kiara, especially. But I think like Kiara is hesitant to changing from the flow of things. I think Kiara's good at getting into a flow state, but I think she's struggles to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a baby boomer. sort of
Oh no.
that's the worst analogy, I'm sorry. No, but like you know how they're like they like the same
Yes.
thing over and
Yeah,
over and
yeah.
over again. As soon as change happens, everything's up in the air, you know?
Yeah,
And
I think
yeah.
it kind of freaks Kiara out, like, because yeah, like I was saying in that last episode, when you have that scene with Matt and Kiara, and he's like, oh no, like, um, yeah, shouldn't you maybe protect Abby? And then she's like, no, like she was just
Yeah.
immediately like so taken aback by it. She was like, no, like,
Yeah.
um,
I just
so
love how
I
confident
don't
she
know.
is though. Like there's just some nah, I'm good. I'm safe. Nah, I'm good. Like,
Oh, that was great though.
her
Oh,
confidence level is like amazing. Like for the position she sits in. And everybody knows
I I think
she's the
she's
one that's
all,
gonna
but
win it.
I don't know, but I do think when she said that no at tribal, it was I don't know if that was a moment of confidence, more like I'm not saying it wasn't confident in her position, but I think she was probably internally freaking out, like, oh my god, like is that going to screw my game over, like by saying just no, like her, like
Yeah.
take like her
Why
and
did I say
Abby, they're
that?
like yeah, like her and Abby, the way I say it, kind of like polar opposites, which is why they were such a fun sort of duo while they lasted. Because Abby is like this speed demon at lying, and I think Kiara is like, like she's thinking like maybe should I come up with something else to say? And then she's like, that's the best she could come up with is just like no. So
Yeah.
like I think she's more likely to be honest than
I mean,
like
people say
yeah.
she's very honest, so
Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think she
She's a pretty
struggles
honest.
to lie as quickly. Yeah.
I just want to
She's
see
more
it from her
Abby.
though. Like, I just want to see her. Like, look, if she gets to the end of this game with no votes against her name, everyone loves her. And she's been honest 100% the whole game. I mean,
Yeah.
congratulations. You have to
That's
give it to her because
crazy.
that never happens, right? Especially
Right.
from a returnee when there's only 3 in the season. Like, it
Well,
shouldn't
no,
be.
she has lied. She has lied. Because at the beginning of the game, she said she would never write your name down to Abby, and then she ended up voting her down. So,
Liar.
I mean, kind of. I mean, that is like of all the votes this season, that's one of the bigger betrayals, right?
It has been one of the biggest betrayals. Yeah, it really has.
Which is
Yeah,
saying something, which is like there haven't been that many like huge betrayals. A lot of them were
yeah.
more like pre-merge, and they weren't super betrayals. They weren't mega
No,
betrayals.
and I mean, betrayals pre-merge don't really count because they're not in the jury.
No.
But you
Yeah.
could You can sell your kid to one of the pre-merge cast, and that the vote doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
I still think though it
there's
plays
battle
a part
back,
in the
but
game.
everyone could battle back this game though, so it does matter a little bit.
Yeah. In this game, it does. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it back out Survivor as a whole potentially because there is battle back options. Then I would say it would.
Mhm.
I wonder how we're going to get next season.
What about next season?
Next season, are we going to get another island version and like multiple challenges to come back into the game? Are we going to get just one round again like we've had in the past?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I'm curious to find out. I mean, I think it's no secret that I mean, I say it all the time. Like, for me, the best Survivor format is no special format. So,
Yeah.
like, I am curious what they do next. But like, I like how these guys put game mechanics into play. Especially, I like the balance of mechanics this season. It's a lot better than last season.
Oh, the balance of idols this season as well compared to the last couple of seasons.
So much better than last season. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like last season was some terrible thing, but I am saying it's like a big improvement.
I mean, there was like how many idols? Like 6?
Like 100.
And all, yeah, and I think the main alliance just had them the whole time, so it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I think.
What are we getting?
Did Hal get final? In a couple of minutes, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Just making sure Kyle sends a link to these people. I don't know if he has or not. That's awkward. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
If I think it's
what were you saying about Hal?
Matt. Yeah, Hal had a couple of idols at the final tribal council just chilling in his pocket. I'm pretty sure. He still had. He had two, didn't he? He had two. He had the half dinner plate, and.
Didn't he play them?
No, he didn't play any idols.
He didn't need to play. Oh wait, did he?
He didn't need to play any idols. I don't think he needed to play any. Or did he play him at final 5?
Give them to. Yeah, I think he did just cause. Maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah, I think he did play them just because when last season of actual Survivor, season 42, and Marianne came out to the end with an idol, I was like, why haven't people been doing this forever? If Hal did it, I feel like I would have remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh my god! Hi, Luca. It is I.
Kyle's messaging me now. Okay, that's cool. We got Matt.
Woo!
Here. Let's put Matt on. Matt's our first one. Actually, don't know the order of these people coming on, so when they come on, we'll just say hello, I guess.
Ooh. So it's like a surprise.
It is a surprise. I don't know the order, so yeah.
Oh my
let's say hello to Matt.
Order of these people coming on, so
Hi guys.
Hey Matt, how you going?
It's like a surprise.
It is a surprise. I don't know, so.
Could you turn us off in your background just so you can talk through the stream instead? Yeah.
Oh. Nice.
No, not mute. No, it's because he's muted.
Sorry.
Could you turn us off in your background just so you can talk through the stream instead?
Nice.
Is that better?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you, yeah.
I can hear you.
Could you turn us off in your background just so you can talk through the stream instead?
So I think you've got a stream up.
I don't know if you hear
and this page up. Have you got the Facebook stream up?
I can hear you,
still?
yeah.
I can hear you.
Could you turn us off in your background just so you can talk through the stream instead? So I think you've got a stream up
I don't know if you hear
and this page up. Have you got the Facebook stream up?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Okay, is that better?
I think that's better.
That's
Okay.
hear
great.
us? Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
yes,
okay.
I can hear you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
All right. Once that technology
Wait,
is all
put Matt B in the middle of the screen. This is what we should have done.
Okay.
It'll be,
Yeah.
It'll be nice to the old man.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Tara, you go.
Where am I going?
I don't know. Ask me a
Ask him
question.
some questions. Yeah, ask him some questions.
Well, Matt B, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
The father of the famous Zach.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, did Zach give you any advice, any tips?
No, not really. No, I think he pretty much let me play my own game. I mean, we'd been fans of Survivor since, he was little, and we watched the very first ones, in the family household, and it's always something we did as a family. So no, not really. It was being also for him being involved in the background. I'm sure Kyle and Brian were like, don't say anything. Don't give anything away. So no, not at all. And we didn't, I didn't see him during the production. Even at one point, apparently, he was behind a camera, but it was so dark and there was lights. I actually never saw him. And I was talking to him after, and I said something, and he goes, "Yeah, I know. I filmed that bit." And I'm going, "Oh, I just didn't see him." So but except for that little bit where he pops in right as I'm exiting the game, which I didn't even see him. He just came in from the side. So, yeah.
Woo, nice.
At the when you got the letters from the family, you didn't get a letter, did you?
I didn't buy it. No.
Yeah.
I didn't buy food. I don't know. I think it's one thing listening to you guys over the last few weeks. I think one thing that you've forgotten is that it was over several days, which was really quite different, and it was so freaking hot. It was unbelievably hot. I mean, the boys put the temperatures up. I'm not sure where they got.
Yeah.
I felt it was way hotter, and I work outdoors in the sun. Like probably, the only other one, probably Matty C. He would have probably been used to it, although, of course, he's from the east as well. So it was blistering, and we were way up in the northern parts of Perth in really sandy soil, and it was just zapping the whole weekend. We'd started at 5:36 on the Saturday morning, went right through to 11 through that absolutely epic episode where Val comes back in. I mean, it's hard to explain the exhaustion, and we were sitting there watching it, and she had to do that complete, fight that after she'd fought. Later we see she'd fought so many other battles, and then get up the next morning after having very little sleep. We started really early, and again that whole day it was. I reckon it was over 40, but it's hard to know. It was just absolutely epic, and so a lot of things you're saying about things we didn't do or did do. It was part of the survivor of this episode, I reckon, was surviving the elements. I mean, we were absolutely cooked at stages, and you didn't want to go to the loo. You were taking in huge amounts of water. You didn't want to go to the loo because you knew, that's like someone's going to be like chatting behind your back. So you're hanging on for dear life, and not having a lot of food second day. We had a scratch a little bit. We'd won some rewards on first day, but not a lot on second day, and we were shot. So especially, I think I exited about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't know if you see us come back in, but it was just awesome. So sorry.
That's all right.
No, that's great.
I was going to say another thing, just to put in context. I mean, we were exhausted, but the crew. You got to remember, the crew standing out in the sun. They were going down like flies. I mean, I don't know. I'd love to hear from the Kyle and Brian how many we lost, but they were falling. They were just. We were really
where did they go?
No, they were literally having to go high. It was so hot. I don't know how many there were. There were huge amounts of crew there. And those poor buggers have fallen over left, right, and centre because they were sitting out in the sun trying to film us. So it was epic on all sorts. So sorry. Many were lost. There you go. They were.
They're like spontaneously combust or something, just into fire.
Oh no! It was part of the survivor, and and some of the gameplay you talked about earlier, but earlier episodes. But part of our gameplay, and especially mine, was just surviving. I mean, you were literally trying to survive the elements as much as surviving the chaos that was going around. And it was happening, as you guys know, it happened so fast. You literally come back, you're chatting, and then the next one, the boys are calling and saying, right, you've got to go over to the far lawn to do X. And then you're off and you're trying to chat and you're thinking, shit, I've got to get some water. And the famous water, of course.
Yeah.
Famous water.
The famous one in the aisle was. Yeah. Thanks, Abby.
What was your thoughts? Yeah, what was your thoughts on that? Abby sort of pinning that on you, even though it wasn't.
I mean, my gameplay the whole time was to. I mean, this game is about picking out people that aren't that are different, and being an older guy. I mean, I was probably the oldest one. I don't know where Julie was, but we're obviously the two sort of older ones, and that is always dangerous. So my gameplay was just sitting down, don't say too much, don't become the leader, don't become the father figure, just sit back. And so when Ab started to get a little bit chaotic, I sort of stepped in and tried to protect her. So it's quite ironic, really, wasn't it? That, several times, and some of the stuff, of course, doesn't make edits, but some of the times I'm saying, no, guys, just no, hold on. She's just excitable. Just let's hold on. So I'm saving her round after round. Well, I felt I was. So much else is going on, of course, around you. But and then to see it in the show, and I'm going, what the fuck? we all watch it, and poor old Abby is just like, oh, you're putting her head. Seeing how many times I'm going, no, let's hold it. So yeah.
Oh, man, I loved the mismatched dynamic between you and Abby. It was just I mean, look, it may not have been great in the moment, but I mean, on screen, I'm enthralled.
Yeah, Abs was chaotic, and I mean that just made it more fun. But there was so much going on around as well, and of course, a lot of stuff doesn't make cuts because it doesn't become a story. A lot of stuff that Rach and I were building, it's not shown because it didn't really eventuate to anything. If I'd flipped that one either with Fu or the one before, which we were so close to doing, and you only see it quickly, but I say to Rach, just give me one more, and I'm with you the next time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But it was, then I got caught in that horrible double, the chaotic trade, the split and that ever, and I just couldn't have drawn worse.
No.
If I had drawn differently, it would have been a different game for me, and if I'd been in any other combination, but against the team that I was against and the strength of the Reds, and being isolated there was just unfortunate, but it was just that's the game. So there's no difference to Mike, with the Rock. So Sorry, I'm talking too much. I know.
No, it's okay.
No.
Do you think at any point in the game you would have flipped on OG Yellow?
Oh yeah, it was set ready to go. Again, it didn't make edits because there was just either the cameras didn't catch it, but Rach and I had it set. If I'd been in that, it's still there during Rocks. Again, it would have been totally different because we would have just worked it out. We were just feeding information, and I knew about the talk of the idol. Again, it didn't really make it because she told me when we're off camera or wherever. So these things happen, and you got to remember we're spread out over a massive block of land, which is just full of bloody red hot sand, and you got cameramen trying to stay with us, and we're just splitting and going wherever we can to have conversations. So sometimes they didn't get caught. But I was ready to go. So it was my call. I said to Rach, just give me one more. I should have gone earlier. I kicked myself, but that's the game.
You couldn't have predicted. You could never have predicted a split tribal though. So it sounds like you had a good idea about it. But
the split, and if the split had been a different split, I would have been right. But then Mike, lucky enough, winning his immunity on his side. It was a Matty C one on our side. And I think if Matty C hadn't have won, I might have had enough. I thought I was closer to Josh too than I was. We see Josh having a shot at me right at the end about BDIs, and everything about that. But I can't. It's just old eyes. Josh, it's old eyes. Sorry, mate. It just. I thought I had a better relationship with him, so I thought we would have got Matty C on that one. But as it works, he wins. I'm isolated, and I just go to Rach and say, look, I know where this is at. This is the game, and I'm about to go to the hangman's noose, and I sort of accepted that. Especially, I couldn't get to Sal. You saw that crazy vision of Sal, and that was probably some really good gameplay for Sal, because he knew that if I obviously he had the idol, he knew that I wanted to discuss about how we could use the idol, but he just didn't give me that time. He just didn't allow me to have that time, and that's why he's doing that crazy run. And I'm sure part of that is that he just didn't want to stand there and have that chat, because if he did, he would have had to lie more. And if I got through it, then he's going to sit, or lots of other options could have come up. But so he plays that crazy chicken run, and that it was probably great gameplay on his case. So you have to ask him that when his turn comes. Yeah.
Liz has just asked a question. Were you really wanting to go to the final three with Josh and Rachel?
Did I want to? Yeah. I thought we had it. I really thought we was such a commanding position. I thought my tribe Yellow were really, really strong, but you just can't go to that final, sit down and right at the end and not have played anything. So I was just holding on again, not trying to step out too much, just being I didn't want to be the dad or the older fella and telling people what to do, because I would have just got picked off straight away. And you just need any excuse, especially in a tribe that gets on so well. You just need to, Val's one, Val kept saying, why did I get voted? It was literally because I think she was getting interviewed at the time. She wasn't there. It was like, shit, who do we vote? No one wants to vote anybody, and bang, you're gone. And so you just need an excuse. So, I would have, either played it. I should have played it the time before. I didn't. It was just one too many. So that's the game.
That is the game, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could choose, 4 people to come back to come play again from before you were voted out, so pre-merge and up to your vote out, who would you want to see again out of them?
And what am I basing it on? Am I basing it on good gameplay or just good characters for TV?
To be honest, I like characters. I think everyone likes.
Yeah, I know you
character.
do. Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see that.
You were very angry, Josh, last week. We just make sure you're.
Yeah. I have eaten. Yes, I have eaten. Yes.
You seem a little bit more.
I am good tonight. Good tonight. Yeah. I also don't sound like a robot too, which is
no, that's it. Who would I? Well, look, Josh and Rach. I loved playing with them. I thought Josh did an amazing job. Again, he as he says, he's not a physical threat, but he was really well liked in the game, as well as Rach, and they were sitting really pretty. I didn't realise how strong their relationship was with Matty C. That probably caught me since I've been able to watch it. I'd probably have to say Holly, because of that just tragicness. So that gives me 3.
Surely she can't go first again. Surely.
Oh, that was just. We all felt physically sick. we were just like, oh my God, how could they do that? But it's the game. So I'd say that. And Fu, I would have loved to have spent more time with her. But then Fiona was another one. I just didn't even get to know Fiona, and then afterwards, so there was so many good characters. Dan was a great character. There was the only one I didn't really get to know was Julie. I had tried to chat to Julie and try to make an alliance, or try to have a chat to her earlier at one episode. We're not in the actual challenge, and so I tried to have a conversation with her, and just it wasn't like it didn't work. So she's probably the only one I'd say. I I have no relationship with all the others. It was a fantastic group of people. So I'd go and have dinner with any of them. So
yeah. Do you have any? We're gonna move along to the next person.
Sure.
Do you have any questions or anything else you'd like to say?
Do I have any questions? No.
Yeah.
I think.
Why you ask that? Sorry.
Maybe they have questions. I don't know. I
I
won't ask it anymore, Tara. Okay, I won't ask that question.
No. Well, no. I mean, I think just remember in your guys' commentary, one thing I stress to you is that the physical nature doesn't come through probably on screen. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I work outdoors. I mean, I'm a tour guide. I sit in the sun kayaking and cycling every day, and I was physically cooked. I mean, I don't know if you see it in that episode where I'm standing up there watching Sal run around, and I'm just going.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely rude, and I'm screwed. And I'm used to it. So the guys that weren't, I give them their credit, but big juice to the crew and the people behind the scenes, because they were absolutely amazing. It was an amazing 48 hours. It was fantastic. So don't forget that when you're making your comments, guys, about us not doing anything. And not making enough gameplay. I'm sorry. We had our gameplay. Sometimes it's just not showing. There was stuff.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't think we're seeing much of it. Look, that's just my personal opinion. Like, everyone has their own opinion. Tara loves this season, for example.
It's just sometimes the stuff that it just didn't lead to anything. So the voice, they wouldn't have put it in or whatever. I mean, there's a situation where we actually have a meeting with Red, and where we get to gang up a bit on Blue, and those sorts of things don't make edits because they're not, they don't lead to anything. But there was a lot of stuff going on in the background. There really was. So a lot of conversations and stuff. So we weren't just sitting around having a picnic. Let me tell you, we were running. We were flat out, and the camera people had to try and keep up with us. And so anyway. There's my bit, my backhand.
Nice. All right. Calm down.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Matt. We have to move on to Michael now. We will hopefully see you on again one day.
Maybe there's a family one. Zach and I would love to give it another shot.
Yeah, like a blood versus water. It'd be great.
Yeah,
it'd be good to see you on there.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Matt. His vast network.
Hello.
Hello. Wow.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are we going? Just
Good.
want to say,
Good.
First off, just want to say good luck to old Ben Schneider in the Maverick Cup. Hope he gets in.
Yeah.
And also,
well said.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's as a Survivor fan, like Kyle and Brian do like an awesome product, but having doing the recaps and the edgic, it kind of adds to the whole kind of fan side of things. So kind of makes the experience feel that little bit more real. So
yeah, I think that's why we do it as well. Like, because we've both played before, and well, I didn't really play. I was there. And
tried.
I tried. No, but yeah, and having this experience of having like an edgic and having like a podcast and to tell your story is, people really want it. So yeah.
Even if you are my harshest critic, Josh. So.
It's okay. I think I'm your only critic, really. I think I am at the moment. So yeah. How would you say your experience on the game was, like, as a whole?
Loved it. Had an absolute blast. I've been a massive Survivor fan since I was a little kid, kind of fallen in and out of love with it and gotten really kind of hard into it the last kind of probably 5-6 years, as my partner could probably attest to. I'm kind of a bit obsessed with it. So just having this chance, I think I said that in my Meet the Cast, most likely probably never going to get the chance to play it for real. So this is kind of like the next best thing. So it definitely scratched an itch that I've had for a long, long time, really.
That's good. That's good. Have you seen many live reality games before, or is this like sort of like a noticed it online type thing and then?
I had actually. So I'd seen. I actually think that because obviously I used to work with David. I think I might have actually seen it on his Facebook when he first started working for us. I might have the old cheeky Facebook stalk. I think I might have seen it on there, and that's actually how I forgot it, and then I kind of realized that's kind of how I saw it. I think I watched the first 2 seasons, and I watched the 3rd season live, and when they were looking for casting, I kind of put my hand up, and
there you go.
Yeah.
Did you know about any of the other ones like around Australia or any of the like US ones or?
Not really. I'd heard
really.
of like Survivor Boston. I think that like Zeke and Andrew played
Yeah,
on.
Andrea. Yeah.
But yeah, it's only been since coming on here that I've kind of watched some of the other ones as well. So
yeah.
Like,
yeah. Tara.
Sup? Hey. I've just been enjoying like that everyone's just talking, and I'm like, man, I can actually just sit and listen.
Yeah.
I mean,
the nitty-gritty things. Let's get into
it.
Let's
Let's deep dive.
Well,
all right.
Where do you want to start? I've got a bit of a list of things that I kind of wanted to kind of.
All right. Well, you tell me what's on your list. What's on your list?
Well, I mean, if we want to kind of, do you want to go a little bit from the start?
Chronologically?
Not the hill, not from the hill, because we've probably heard about.
Oh, come on! That's the best part, Michael. Come on.
All right, we'll go for Hill. So I love Julie. So obviously, So we have to walk up, you saw the hill. It's a stupidly big hill. Long story short, I've gotten to the top. Julie's struggling fairly hardly. I don't. There's probably a little bit of gameplay there, but she was just genuinely probably not going to get up the hill. So as much as I was thinking about the game plan, I was just kind of being probably a little bit more of a good person than anything else, to be honest. So, but I was well aware that it was probably going to give me some brownie points later on in the game. So, which I think it did. I mean, it's probably been one of the most mentioned thing throughout the whole show, which is kind of weird. Just
I thought it was going to eventuate into something big, and it never did, unfortunately.
I think that was kind of the point in hindsight. I think that was kind of point of the edit. I think it wanted to trick us into thinking that it was gonna really eventuate to something. I think you were a really good decoy winner edit, and so you need to put things like that in there to make it seem like everything you do matters, So.
Yeah. Well, I felt so bad as well, because she came specifically for the swap tribe. She came to come to me. She had no allies at that point, because everyone had kind of burned her after the FIVO, and I was just not able to draw the numbers to kind of keep her in the game. So I do that's one thing I do feel bad about, is that she did come to swap Birak, and that I wasn't able to, unfortunately, get those numbers on my side.
Yeah. That swap tribe. Do you want to talk a little bit about that swap tribe? A little more about that then.
So if we go back to
go for it.
The actual decision of it. So I mean, probably taking a step back from there. With the Birak 4, we formed pretty early. It wasn't. I know that Ken mentioned the Toilet Alliance. I don't think there was so much of a Toilet Alliance. I think we all just got along so well, and it's kind of funny because we're all quite different people in our own right, but we just kind of click so well together, and we've all got our own strengths that kind of make such a perfect alliance. You've got Rachel, who's the boss bitch, who's she knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to go get it. Which I think suited Matt and myself, because we're probably a little bit more, if you're talking in terms of archetypes, probably more alpha types, which I think, I can't speak for Matt, but for myself, I was definitely trying to downplay that. So it's perfect having someone like Rachel, who I could just go sit back and let her kind of take the reins a bit. That was kind of perfect. And then you've got Josh is dead set one of the funniest blokes out there. We got there, he's making jokes when we're making the marquee, about being a gay guy and sticking holes in the poles. And, yeah, like how
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Michael, sorry, can I stop you there for you're starting to crackle like me last week. Can you just mute yourself and then unmute?
right.
Yeah.
All right, try again.
Is that better?
No, it's
No.
okay. We'll deal with it. It's fine.
Mm.
Sorry.
All right. How's that now?
It's okay. Nah, it's okay. It's fun. You're not as bad as me
Yeah.
last week, so.
I'm on an
Or
iPad.
me.
Crazy one.
Oh, you're on iPad. Okay, yeah, okay.
Is
That's
that
okay.
typical for iPads?
No
Is
idea. But
Oh, okay. I thought. Yeah.
So yeah, on the Swap Tribe, we kind of swapped our key partnerships, which I think was Rachel's idea. Which because I was very close to Josh and she was very close to Matt, so she kind of wanted to swap that up. So I went with Matt. We got onto a Swap Tribe, and it was the 2 red, 2 blue, 3 yellow setup. Obviously, I was really wanting to work with Julie, but with Dave, he was just, I think you saw it in the edit as well. He was just kind of all over the shop a little bit. So we kind of had to make a bit of a decision whether we're going to go for the more risky option. And obviously, like the GameBot move is to go take the 4, take out the 3 to not give them the power. But to Yellow's credit, I think we just clicked a lot better with those guys, and we felt there was probably a better path to merge with those guys.
what was your after the David vote? Or during the David vote, you received an advantage.
Yeah.
For an extra vote. Now, this has sort of been controversial in this podcast. What was your thoughts going through with it? Because in my head, your vote didn't really count the next time you went anyway, because you didn't have numbers.
So, or the way I saw that is, and I think sometimes what happens with these live reality games is you have, like, that was 3rd episode, but it only been, I think, 4th or 5th episode, but it only been like, half a day of like being together. So you kind of think about it like you've got all this time, like a real season of Survivor where they've been out there for 15 days, had all these plans. We probably really only had 15 minutes between the end of the challenge and actually going to Tribal Council. So I was pretty confident that my vote did count, mainly because I just got the impression that Kiara and Co wanted to work with me. So I know that you brought it up that you thought it was going to be my vote didn't count because it would either be a 4-2 or a 5-1 on David.
Yeah.
What I was worried about was I didn't think they'd do that because I didn't think they wanted to get me out straight away, but I thought they might have tried to pull like a sneaky, some sort of 3-3 tie where they go, Joe and Kiara would vote for Dave, and that Sal would vote with, me and Matt would vote for Dave with Sal. So it'd be 3 on Dave, and then Kiara and Joe would vote for me with Matt. And I was a little bit worried that they would try and pull something like that. So you saw like there was a conversation I had with them, and I was trying to play it really like as cool as possible because I knew that David was putting my name out there. And I was like, I went to Kiara and Joe and I was like, look, if he's got an idol, he's putting his vote on me. Let's just put all five on.
Yep.
Let's put all 5 on him. And if I get the idol, if he cops the idol, I'm going home anyway. Like, there's no point, putting votes on me and making me sad or anything like that. Inside, I was trying to make it as cool as possible to not make it like I had any kind of ulterior motives. So I was pretty confident I had the votes the way I wanted them with that kind of 5-1 split. But there's always that nagging part in the back of your head where you're like, I don't want to make the stupidest move in Survivor history and potentially vote myself out by not voting, because in that case I would have gone home 3-2. And looking back on it now, there was no time for them to actually pull a move like that, really, because it was only like 15 minutes. So I was probably overthought it, to be honest.
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
It's
Fuck
okay.
yeah.
No,
It
that's
makes
okay. I
sense.
think it does. Like, if you're in that situation, it's completely different to me sitting behind a camera watching it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's completely different. So yeah, I get it. I do get it.
I do regret
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, of course you would.
Yeah.
The whole game would be different with that extra vote right now, literally.
Yeah, I think I would have used that at merge. I think.
Merge.
But
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that today as well. And if I use that at merge, then I've just won the immunity. I've just played like an extra vote. I'm probably like fairway, like the biggest target. And then you've got Fu. I think Jake would have been loyal to me, but then you still got Fu in the game, who I'm not. Like, I got along well with Fu, but I'm not sure if she would have been completely loyal to me. You know. So who knows? I might have been gone before then because someone saw me as a big target to be able to take out.
I think it would have more than likely just fractured yellow. More than put like a target on yourself, I would say.
Yeah.
Only because now they've lost and now they have to scramble. They're in the scramble mode. And I think it would have just injected a bit more chaos in the merge. But I don't know, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think so a bit of background on why we went for Val on that merge vote as well. Is because I know that a few people are confused, and obviously looking back, probably the right move probably would have been Abby, as I think you guys kind of a lot of people kind of have said. But I think what happened is because we'd all made these such strong alliances on our swap tribes. So you've got me and Matt, who are now really close with Kiara, Sal, and Joe. So me and him are like, well, we don't want to vote them. And then you've got Abby, who's very close with Josh, which I wasn't very happy about. That's why I kind of started targeting Abby. And then you've got Matt B, who I didn't really trust from the start of the game. Great bloke, but I don't know. There was just something about him I didn't quite trust. So, but you had.
We'll get him back on. We'll ask him.
Okay. So you had Rachel and Josh, and of course they're protecting their cross-tribal alliances as well. So you've got Val, who just come back in the game. At that point, I was like, she's going to be someone that we're going to have to take out down track anyway, because she's got such a good story. So I was like, that was my thinking. I was like, we're going to have to take her out anyway. So why not now? But in hindsight, it probably should have been Abby. But at that time, I don't think Josh would have wanted to go for that. And you're trying to appease your alliance as well and not kind of cause too many waves. So especially when we're protecting our side of the alliances with Joe, Kiara, and Sal. So, and those six weren't moving. It was pretty clear, pretty evident. I think I had one conversation with Kiara, Joe, and they are about possibly voting someone, and they was like, nah. Which is weird because you make all these connections with them, and then they're just like, nah.
Yeah. And like, obviously, it would be hard as well because you spent pretty much the whole day with Matt, sort of like Josh and Rachel, and then you get to the merge, and then you're back with these people in the first thing in the morning. So you sort of just instinctively just have that like connection and that alliance, and then when you start talking to other people, it seems like you're sort of like cheating on them, like.
Yeah, exactly.
And sort of that element of just like, I should be doing this, I might get in trouble.
And I think there was a bit like an element of like, I didn't like Abby being close to Josh, and same reason why I don't think he liked kind of Sal being so close to us, kind of thing. So you're protecting your own alliances against the new alliances that they've kind of created. So it's kind of like
the jealous girlfriend.
Yeah.
So after the double tribal, when you go, the double tribal, you win immunity. You're the only person from red on that tribe.
Oh man, I think I was the first one to pull the red one out. So I'm the only one who was Birak all day because Matt was Jilba for that one for the whole time. I just remember watching them pull red after red after red. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I was crossing, there's 4 of those. I'm like, I'm just going to have to win this. And like you saw me how wobbly I was. I was wobbly the whole time, and I was just like, if I'm gonna fall, like there was no way that my arms were gonna drop. The only way I would have lost that would be if I was gonna lose balance, which I nearly did a couple of times. So, but yeah, that was pretty scary. But it's a lot of relief, and it cooked your shoulders, that challenge. Like it didn't look that hard, but you saw how bad we looked afterwards, and it hurt.
I'm actually in the company of two of the only people that have won the same live reality game challenge.
Yes, bouncing a ball on a plate. Yes.
Well, I've heard that our variety was harder because it was lighter balls.
I've heard that too.
With wind.
Yeah, but you don't know that I can't do that. You don't know that I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll just have to do,
how do you know how light the balls?
Yeah.
Maybe the balls are.
You weren't there. Yeah.
The balls were maybe lighter in Melbourne. We don't know.
Interesting theory.
I'm actually in Melbourne. So I'm in a hotel.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very cold.
Yeah, welcome.
It's fucking freezing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Whew.
Not fun at the moment.
Sorry, I like that. The one thing I pipe in for is just talking about the fucking weather and bouncing the ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Jumpers, by the way, Tara. You always bring good jumpers.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even know I had this jumper until kind of recently. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it's a good one.
Just popped up, did it?
Yeah, kind of.
I feel underdressed.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah. Okay, that's why I'm God now, not just Edge of God.
Fashion God.
I didn't mean to derail this. Jesus. I was just enjoying listening, to be honest.
Right.
What else have you got on your little list, Michael?
You want to talk about the moment then?
Yeah, just.
Let's talk about rocks. Let's try and work out why you did this to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm confused. I don't think it's the right play at all.
Okay. So, and I know that you were talking about it before. So you don't think it's right play? For what reason?
Look, I think jeopardizing your game over an ally. Yes, you might not make it to the end, but you will make it further. And if it does play out, you're still not guaranteed to make it to the end.
Yes.
Like what's stopping? Yeah. Like what's stopping like an idol knocking you out next round? There's these things that I don't think are worth it. I like rocks. I think sometimes they make sense, but at this time, I don't think it's correct. Like if it's final 6, I would go rocks because then it dictates the rest of the game. I think when there's this many people left in the game, it still doesn't dictate anything. Personally, that's my personal opinion. When there is so many variables that are still in the game, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying because it's pretty silly. It obviously cost me. I guess my train of thought was at that point, we tried so many times. I felt like Kiara probably wasn't going to vote Val or Joe at that point because she hadn't said that she was going to before, and she definitely said she wasn't going to when I had that conversation with her. Then you've got Sal, who just turned on us a few times, and I know that you're talking about before about why we targeted Sal. I think that was probably wasn't smart either. I think that was more emotional than anything else. Especially from my point of view, because I felt like Sal was kind of like my and Matt connection, so I probably felt a little bit more angry than the others because I felt like me and Matt were the ones like we can get Sal. So it's like, well,
look, I'm not saying that like the things you'd have done are the wrong thing. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say like I wouldn't do these things. Like
so
at that time, I wouldn't do that. That'd be
So then
there's nothing you can't do anything wrong in Survivor though. That's the thing. Survivor's that game where you can't do anything wrong. Anything you do can be criticized by anyone. You could have voted out Matt C and everybody would have hated you. I don't know.
Well,
like
and my other thinking was I didn't want to go to Rocks, but I was like, if I'm going to go to Rocks, I'm going to go into Rocks, like saying I'm going to go into Rocks and just try and play it really hard. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I wanted to go in hard, and that's why you saw like that conversation I had with Cara when she's like, I'm not going to turn it on anyone. I was like, okay, well, so we're going to Rocks, and I wanted to go into Rocks confident, because you always notice that the confident sides of a Rocks are the ones that are the least. The other side is most likely to flip.
Yep.
So that was, and the other thing is, I didn't want to turn on Matt, because if I turn on Matt, then I look to Jury weak. And because I'm like the flipper, I also, to the other Birack who were prepared to go to Rocks, I probably look weak to them. And also, I wanted, at that point, because after touchy subjects, I was like, ooh, I can't really take Matt to the end. I wanted Matt to be my move, not like flipping on Rocks. If I flip on Rocks, I don't think people really respect that as like a blindside or a move. It's just like, you're just a flipper. So I wanted to maybe at like 7 or 6 be the one who's like, okay, pull in some numbers and actually get rid of Matt, and that to be my move. So that was my thinking. And I felt like at that point, I positioned myself where Abby and Matt were gone. Me and Matt were like the ones with the most connections at that point, because Kiara, Sal, and Joe were on our swap tribe. I was standing next to Val at in the first lineup, so I'd have a bit of a chat with her. Obviously, I've got all my Birack connections. We were kind of like very in the middle. So I was like 1 in 5 chance, 80% chance I'm not drawing the Rock. And I felt like from there forward, I had a lot of pass forward, even if Rachel or Josh had gone home. So that was kind of my rationale for me behind it.
Yeah, well, you joined a elite club. I believe it's Stephen.
Yes.
From last season. I actually believe Rocks has only been drawn on Backyard Survivor in LRG Australia. So
no one's done Rocks in camp.
Nobody else in LRG in Australia, no LRG in Australia has done Rocks other than Backyard, and it's happened twice now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You're
in an elite club, that's for sure.
Or is it? I don't know if it's elite. Part of a club.
Dynamic duos.
Oh yes.
Had one, and that was pretty iconic, to be fair.
Yeah, we did have a
Doesn't really
one-day
count.
game
where
it wasn't filmed. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's our one-day sort of like trial thing where we try out some advantages and all that stuff. And
who went to Rocks? Who got eliminated by Rocks?
There's a girl called Mickey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was very entertaining.
She was, screw it, I'll do Rocks, and then drew the Rock, and then
it's not good time to be drawing Rocks if your name starts with MI, is it?
No. Oh my god! No. Wow, we've cracked the codes. All right.
That's for any future players.
Yeah.
A Mike or a
keep
Michael,
that in mind.
We're fine, Tara. We should draw the Rocks if we're playing with a Michael or or Michaela or something.
Yeah.
All right. We have Abby waiting in the background. Just a couple more.
Actually.
Yeah. Who would you want to see back on this season?
So I'd love to see Abby back. Obviously, she is a very good player. I think if she can just control her impulses a little bit and kind of tone things down, I think she'd go a long way, because her strategic mind is ridiculous. She comes up with ideas that, are very, very left field. I think if she had longer to enact these plans, that'd be very successful. But when you're only having like 1 or 2 conversations with a few people, not the whole tribe, it's very hard to kind of get these big, long-winded plans and the chaos plans that you want, Josh. I'd love to see her back. One person I'd love to see back again, I would love to see Dave back.
Yeah, me too.
I was talking to him, and I feel like his first time round, he obviously went first. I feel like he just came into the game with like a real chip on his shoulder. And I was talking to him that I think if he played again, I don't know if he'd play Backyard again, but if he went and played like Canberra or Melbourne or something like that, where maybe he's a little bit less known, and he was able to he's played twice now so he's gotten like the crazy game out of his system. I feel like he'd probably be one to watch again because he could just kind of tone it down. Dan, great TV. Fu as well, obviously, and Fiona. I'll chuck that in there.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. That's a lineup.
it's a good-
That's a good lineup.
So
Yeah, that's a good lineup.
that's more
Yeah.
than 3, I think. But
That's okay. That's fine. I'm not going to ask if you have any questions because apparently that's not the right thing to ask.
I do have.
Do you have anything else?
Oh my god,
Actually,
he has
okay.
a question.
See, Tara, I should be asking these. I should be asking.
I'm
I should be
sorry.
asking.
When Melbourne Survivor comes out, can I come on the recap?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
good shout.
we
yeah.
actually we actually
I'll be
need.
like a co-host.
So we actually do not have any hosts for Melbourne Survivor because I was on production, so I've seen the whole thing and I'm currently editing as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
Maybe me. And
So-
Josh, maybe.
Ooh, oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah. Love that. I
I would
actually would love that.
watch.
We will talk about this. We will
Fuck
talk
yeah.
about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. That's my question.
Fuck yeah.
Awesome.
Uh,
All
thanks
right.
So much.
That makes me very happy.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully I cleared a few things up for you, Josh.
Yes. No, it does. It makes me happy because we can get our players. Liz,
Sure.
no, not you, Liz. Not the host for the
No,
host for the podcast. The host for the podcast.
Jesus, Liz. Come on.
You are not
You know
chopped
better.
liver. All right. Thank you for coming, Michael. We're gonna get Abby on now.
All right.
Enjoy
worries.
your nights in Melbourne.
All right. I'll jump back onto the other side and I'll watch.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
So-
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my god. It's the Casper. Woo!
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. My camera is hectic. Okay.
It's doing a thing.
It's got
It
some
is
motion
doing a
blur.
thing. Yeah, it, like,
Yeah, alright. It's an effect.
it is.
The last time we were both on camera together was about 1.5 years ago now.
Yeah.
When I played at Idol, in a 7 to
yeah.
1 vote, and I received 7 votes.
And then Brendan. No.
Wow.
That was an amazing time. Sorry, I
I'm
just wanted to
sorry,
bring
Brendan.
that- That was the last time we were on camera together. I loved it so much.
That was.
All right, yeah, that was an iconic moment for both of us
it
actually,
was.
because everyone was just shocked, and I was just sitting there like some strategic god.
Thank you for putting your vote on me, by the way. Much appreciated.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. That was actually, I had really fun in that game. I've never played an org since, but anyway.
Wow.
Since-
Mm.
Wow.
I'm like- Revirginated or something. Is that a word? Yeah.
Yeah.
Righto.
Good stuff.
Anyway, welcome.
Wow.
I'm allowed to. It's my show. I'm allowed to talk about myself. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. How was your backyard Survivor experience?
It was terrible. I hated it.
Yeah,
kidding.
I can tell.
I had such an amazing time. I don't have words to describe like how much I enjoyed it. Like every single aspect of it, just incredible. Minus the weather, but still. I did not appreciate
Yeah.
getting incredibly
People keep
sunburned.
telling us. People keep telling us about
The
how
weather. Oh,
Yeah.
Did he?
yeah.
That one challenge where we had to like with the swords, I'm pretty sure like 90% of my sunburn came from that. It
Wow.
was insane. I was like, I
How
had a
sunburned
tan
were you?
I was really bad. I had a tan line like from the buff and the t-shirt. So there was just this like little peak in the background of bright red. And then there was like my
Oh.
buff on top.
Nice. Well done.
Getting that Perth tan.
You know it. Oh, it was horrendous. It was so funny.
When you started the game, there was a pretty close connection that you had with a particular someone named Jake. Yeah.
That was
How,
that.
yeah. How did that come around?
So like at the breakfast, I don't even remember. At the breakfast, like we got talking, and I was like thinking to myself that he looked very young. So I was just like questioning him. I was like, "Oh, so what do you study? Where do you study?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I study at WAPA." Does the little thing. He didn't actually do that, but I feel like I should include it.
Right.
And then I was like, "So what do you study?" And like I was like, "What year are you?" Like I was trying to like get the info. Because I was super worried because I look around and I just see a bunch of old people.
Wow. You heard it here first.
I see a bunch of old people, and then I see like Josh and Fu, who I thought were 19.
Wow.
And then I see Jake, and I'm like, this guy looks about my age. So I like just started questioning him to figure out how old he was. I'm sorry, Kiara. You have a child. That is considered old.
Oh, not the old people.
I'm sorry. So I just kind of figured out that he was my age, and I was like, look, everyone else here is old. Let's protect each other and not vote out each other. And he was like, cool, bet. And then like after that happens, like at challenges and stuff, he kept on like smiling at me and giving me like these eyes, and I was like, I see what you're doing. So I started doing it back.
A flirting game.
Pretty much. And then from there we get on. Well, there's that thing at that challenge where like everyone goes and hugs Red, so I feel bad, so I go hugging Jake. That one that who loses at. And then after that, we kind of get on the same tribe together, and he's making it very obvious that he's flirting with me. Like he would come sit next to me, put his arm around me, or like we'd be walking and he'd like nudge me and he'd be like, like it was very obvious. So I was like, I'm just gonna roll with this, and I did.
Well, it worked out for you for quite a while. It actually worked out.
No, it really did. Like that Dan vote wouldn't have been nearly as good if it wasn't for the way I was with Jake.
Poor Dan.
Oh, he shit talked to me in the game. I don't feel bad for voting him out. I'm kidding.
I think so when you got picked by Kiara and you saw your tribe, you saw that you're with Val, Joe, Kiara, and there's like a scene where Sal is just annoyed that there's no gameplay happening.
Yes.
Yeah, you were on the tribe, so I'm very confused because
right.
Yeah.
No, that's correct. I was still in the part of the game where I was trying to keep things chill, and I would like to address that there was gameplay happening. It was just very subtle. Like when we were walking around, there were conversations that were kind of happening. Most of them were started by me. I definitely had one with Sal early on. I had one with Kiara early on. And I had one with Joe quite early on that wasn't shown in the camera.
Okay.
And it just, because 99% of the game early on for us was us just sitting in a circle talking. It did feel like that, even if there were like a few conversations happening on the sidelines. And I guess because I was the person initiating conversations with people, it didn't feel like that so much for me. But I also like get where it was coming from. It was very much happy family for a long time.
Yeah. So during your time, you found a clue.
I did.
For the idol that you were like dead set that Matt B had this idol, and
I was.
You were so dead set that you made it a rumor that Matt B had this idol.
I did do
so
that.
much so that Sal then asked him for the idol. Was that your
But-
plan? Like, was your plan just be like, I'm actually not 100% sure he does have it. However, it doesn't
Well,
hurt.
yeah, pretty much. I was like, I don't know whether he has it. I didn't know whether he had it or not. I didn't really care. You're right. And I was kind of like, if I can get people to think he has it, that works out just as well for me. Yeah. And so I just kind of started like telling people, and I had enough like evidence that it made sense. So I could kind of just wing it, I guess. Yeah. I think it also, the reason that it worked so well is because I wasn't the person who was going around saying that Matt was first to the water well. That was Sal. So I just jumped on that, and I just jumped on what Sal said and was like, yeah, it's Matt. It was also kind of targeted because at that point I had heard that like at an ex tribal, he was either going for Joe or myself. So I was like, yeah. Night, Tara. I was like,
Good night. I'm tapping out. I'm so fucking tired. I was excited for this, but I can't. I'm out.
It's very
I'll be
late.
watching. I'll be watching though. All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
See you, Tara.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I forgot.
That's okay. That's okay. So during your time, you have so much things that happen. Like you were
There was a lot.
one of the most compelling, one of the most controversial,
Yeah.
one of the most outgoing as well players that we had on Backyard Season 4. Your tribe barely went to tribal at the start.
Yeah.
So you didn't really get to test the waters. You got to test the waters once with the Valentina vote.
Mm.
How did that happen? Like that vote seemed like it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Because there's just groups of two going left, right, and center.
It could. So it was kind of in a weird way decided before the groups. So this wasn't obviously put on camera. Put on the show. I'm pretty sure it was filmed. I can't remember. But after we came back from our confessionals, because we kind of all went out to confessionals at once and then came back, and then once we were all back, we were going to start like doing tribal things. But me and Joe came back first. So we were talking and we were like, we don't want to get either of the boys out because they're like quite strong, obviously. And both of us like didn't want Kiara out again as first just because we felt bad. And at that point I had already had like made an alliance with Kiara. And we're like, well, I'm not going to tell you to your face that I want to vote you out. So it then just became Val on the default. And I think I got a quick like whisper into Sal before that we split off that it was going to be Val so that he could pass that around to Matt, which is then what happened as well. And then I was able to like pass it to Kiara. And then it was kind of just set in stone from there.
Because your name was also brought up, Brian. Your name was also written down at the tribal.
It was. Matt. I think that was Matt. I'm pretty sure it was Matt that told Val my name. Yeah. I'm pretty sure because then after that, I remember Matt told Kiara that he wanted to go either myself or Joe out. So.
Yeah. And then moving on, you went to the swap tribe because you only went to one tribal that whole start of the game. You went to the swap tribe. Did your team choose which tribe they wanted to go to, or what? Like was a random draw. Yeah,
ours was a random draw. We lucky dipped it. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Did you think that was the right idea at the time? Like everyone just said yes to it, or?
Well, I was the one that came up with it, and the reason was while I had like the people I was closer to and less close to, we were such in like happy family status still that I didn't want to like obviously disrupt that. So in order to like keep everyone happy, I was like, why don't we just randomize it? Worst case scenario, I'm placed with Matt, who I trusted the least. But even then, I'm pretty sure he's still like chill enough that he wouldn't turn on me because just, I don't know, you can look at Matt and see that he's not just going to flip on you on a whim.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty confident that like no matter who I was paired with, it was going to be okay. It was more the other tribes who was coming in from the other tribes that I was worried about, I think.
Yeah. And then your tribe only ends up going to one tribal council after that.
Yes.
So really, you only hit 2 tribal councils before the merge.
I do. I got very lucky.
Yeah, it's very lucky compared to like Matsy and Michael.
Matsy and Michael, yeah.
These people who went to like nearly every tribal council the whole game.
Literally all 2.
Yeah. Did you think that like sort of hindered your game though, because you hadn't been to as many to like solidify sort of like trust in people? Or
yes and no. I think the more tribals I would have gone to, the more chaotic I would have gotten early on. So I think that might have caused issues for me, especially at that swap tribe. If we had to go to 2 tribals, I would have struggled to vote out Jake. So I would have tried to get the vote on Fu, which then would have messed up my relationships with like Josh and Rachel and Matt.
Yeah.
So that would have gotten really messy really quickly. So I think the less tribals pre-merge for me, the better, because it meant that my chaotic nature didn't come out as early and as strong.
Do you think you could go to like multiple tribals without being chaotic in another game if it ever happens?
I mean, I do have a secret weapon right now. It's not so secret because I'm telling everyone about it. It's called dexamphetamine.
Not the drugs.
So I wanted to make that joke some point tonight. I think so. I might, maybe, I don't know. It's not like something I can think about and be self-aware about beforehand. It's only something I can be self-aware about in hindsight, I think. Yeah.
Hopefully we get to see it though.
Hopefully we do.
Hopefully we could do get another season, potentially Backyard or Melbourne or even Canberra. Who knows? Sydney, you might go see Eli.
Oh God, fuck. It's okay. Don't put me on anyway.
So you get to the merge, and I really thought you were the player that would flip.
I mean, I was tempted.
Yeah, like at that first vote when I really thought you were going to save Jake, because I looked at Jake as like a potential just extra vote for you moving down the line. And I think a lot of people have that same thought.
In hindsight, I absolutely should have saved Jake, like without a doubt. Because even after you see I don't know if this was like public or if this was just in the VIP lounge, exclusive content. But you see Jake's like, oh, someone asked Jake, oh, who do you want to win? And he says me. So it was, even though I didn't think it at the time, I still kind of had him in my back pocket. But I just didn't realize that. I thought I had lost him after the Fu vote. And also I was kind of getting a bit bored of the whole flirting. I'm not going to lie. That was half the reason for my decision. So I think in hindsight, keeping Jake would have been the better call for me. Like I said, I was just kind of bored and I didn't think that I had him anymore when I clearly did. So I think that's what stopped me. But in the moment, it felt like getting rid of Jake was the right decision. And also because I thought maybe like keeping Val means that we've got 6 yellows. I also think that was a bad call, just because Val had no loyalty to me. And I think having a less obvious majority is better, especially for someone like me who was the one that was targeted of that obvious majority.
We actually see you talk about Val earlier on when she wins the challenge in the battle back, and you I think you talked to Matt C about it. I think it's Matt C.
I don't remember. It was someone.
I can't remember who it was, and you're like, damn it, I voted her out. She's got to come back and take me. Or something along them lines. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was worried about, because I had no like personal vendetta against Val. I was just really worried that she'd have one against me, which is what kind of turned out to happen.
Yeah.
But the only reason it turned out to happen was because she thought I had one against her because of what Fu said. It was this crazy like whole twisty turny thing. But I was just worried that she wanted me out. That was all my worry was. I still do. Like, I adore Val. And I never had anything like against her. It was just circumstantial.
Yeah. It's hard with Val because she just got back into the game. She's been voted out. She had to go through that whole run of all them immunity wins. Crazy.
Yes.
Probably we'll never say that again. We'll never say that again. That's one and done.
That was
and she gets there and she starts talking to Fu, and Fu's just throwing your name out straight. She voted you out,
Absolutely,
and then
like no shot.
Yeah, and yet you're the one who saves her. Weirdly enough,
right? Fu's the one. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, you're the one who saves her. Fu flipped on Jake.
That's right. I was going to say Fu's the one who flipped on her, but she didn't. That's wrong.
Yeah, that was Sal. Yeah,
that was Val. She did vote Val though. To be fair, I was.
Yeah, she did originally. Yeah.
So, what's going on?
So after, so after that vote, look, we could sit and talk about that vote for hours. That vote's crazy. Even though it's pretty obvious it was like a 6-6, there's still so many dynamics that could have happened.
Absolutely.
You also had at one point you threw the plank of idol, like you threw the plank of wood with the idol.
I'm aware.
And does it say anything on the plank of wood that this is an idol?
So what it was a plank of wood. It had a little X in the corner, and then on the side there was like a hole drilled in, and in the hole there was like the congratulations, you have found a hidden immunity idol script thing, which I didn't see because I only saw the X in the corner and assumed there was something behind it rather than the plank of wood itself. So I like flicked it away to see if there was anything behind it, saw nothing behind it, and was like, oh, it's gone. So I just left because I didn't really have time to check it either because it was right before we merged. We were waiting at the well, and I had sat on the well to cover it, and just so that I was the last person to like leave, so I could do that. But I was walking as I kind of did it. I didn't really get the chance to stop and have a look.
Yeah. Plus Matt B.
Matt B, of course.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt B for having the idol.
Yeah. So the next vote is the final 11. Your plan was, look, for me, I didn't find it confusing. I found it sort of understandable. However, I do feel like if you just wanted him gone, you should just voted him. Because he's gone anyway, it doesn't matter. Some people found it confusing though. Your whole plan of it. Yeah.
It wasn't explained very well, I don't think.
It was very rushed.
It was
I think
very
that's
rushed.
what we saw. Yeah, it's like, you vote Matt B, I'll do the rest of the work. You just vote Matt B. And then, like, why would you trust that? Like, it makes sense not to trust that. Like,
fair enough.
Yeah. Did you have any other plans going into that vote? Because that's a vote with Liz Fu.
Yes. So that was my original plan because I did want Matt B out. Because I didn't trust him pretty much. At that point, I had kind of lost trust in him. At one point in that round, I think it was shown on camera, I was like, oh, why don't we switch the vote from Fu to Rachel? And Matt B was like, no, not happening. And I was like, why not? Like, it was very blanket no. There was like no reasoning behind it. So that made me like very suspicious of him. So yeah, from there, I was kind of like, I don't know what's happening. And then I hear like later from Sal. So that's kind of, I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the timeline from like when I told them about the split vote plan to that conversation to Matt B, then to when I was told that they were actually voting me instead. But there was some point along the line where I figured out that someone told me that they were voting for me. Sorry, there's a fly in my face. Instead of Matt B. And that's when I was like, oh, screw that split plan. I'm just going to go with whoever we're going for, last another round, especially if they're voting me, because that means I can't really trust them.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got anything to add to that.
I think you've pretty much summed it up. There are some vote, like, at this point, you're still pretty tight with Kiara. You've still got, that was pretty much your you, Kiara and Joe were pretty
solid.
tight. Yeah. What do you think happened in this next episode that made that not happen?
So I don't know. I think it was a big combination of things. I think it was because I went into that not into the tribal, sorry. I went into that round being like, I'm solid with Kiara and Joe. We're all going to vote out Val. No question about it. And so I went around just kind of like doing whatever, being a bit chaotic because I was like, I know I've got my 2 girls. I'm fine. There's no way they're going to flip on me. So I think it was a little bit of like my past rounds actions where I'd kind of gotten all of Birak plus Fu against me to then my later chaoticness in that round that made Kiara. I think it was Kiara and Joe. I don't know if it was one or the other more.
You were talking to I think from what I remember, you were talking to Val and Kiara first. The other two people first, and you're like, well, we have to vote for Joe. There's clearly no other name to say here.
Yeah, which I said just to say it, just so we could give Val a name.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of that. And I went straight to Joe after and being like, I just did this. I want you to know that this is not my plan at all. And I just said it because I felt like that's what I had to say. So I wanted to be like completely upfront with her about that. I think the scene was mentioned, but then their later comments about it weren't mentioned. That obviously I tried to create a final 3 deal with Kiara and Joe. And then I don't remember if this part was shown, but I remember Kiara hearing that and thinking I was just being like chaotic and crazy again and not actually committing to that, which wasn't true at that time. At that time, I really did want to take Kiara and Joe to the end. I think I've gone on a ramble again. I don't know what the question was.
No, that's okay. It was just about that vote, essentially. So
I think it was a mix of like me having turned a lot of people against me already to my chaotic nature that round to running off and trying to help Sal find an idol. I think it was just a mix of all of it that Kiara was like, this is too much. I can't deal with this. And then I found out because like I absolutely knew that was coming because Joe couldn't lie to me. She was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, so you're voting. I didn't say it, but I was like, okay, so you're voting for me. So I was like trying to get her to not vote for me. Meanwhile, I have Kiara on the other hand being like, you're not getting any votes. It's okay. You're not getting any votes. Her like holding my hand and rubbing my back as the votes are being read.
Oh no.
Which I think was fucking incredible. Like Kiara's
She's so savage.
Right? Her gameplay that round, incredible. Fucking phenomenal. It was just an incredible round. It was so fun to be a part.
Just holding you back as she was digging the knife in further.
Really, she was like rubbing it, stab, rub, stab.
That's quite funny. That's quite funny. See, I wish we saw this stuff. I wish I saw that bit, but clearly you don't. Clearly, there's no cameras at the back. Yeah. That's okay. It is okay. So after you get voted out, Sal stands up.
Yeah.
Plays an idol.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and you saw it, and it's the piece of wood.
Yeah, the piece of wood I had just thrown on the floor.
Yeah. What was your obviously you see your shocked face, but internally, was there like eternal rage, or was it just like
it was
I can't believe that was your idol?
It was a mix of what the fuck? How is that actually idol? I can't believe I threw that on the floor. I could have just saved my ass. Thank God Sal's safe. Those were like the three things going through my head. Because at that point, Sal was the only person. Okay, no, at that point, Sal and Matt B were the only people who hadn't voted for me. However, Sal was the only person I trusted that hadn't voted for me. So I was like, I'm Team Sal.
Yeah.
So because of that, I was like, thank God he's safe. But I was also like, what the fuck? Yeah, I bet. I'm pretty sure I did catch a few of you laughing. And like, honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like,
Yeah.
it was incredible to be a part of. That montage is fucking hilarious to watch. Like the facial expressions, the pure shock.
Yeah.
So good. So good. From like
It was a great moment. It was a great moment.
It was.
I loved watching it.
It was
All
fun.
right. If you could choose anyone before you that was voted out, so not currently still in the game, before you that was voted out, to come back, who would you want to see?
Oh, just one person?
Just give me a couple. Yeah.
Okay.
Like who do you think played big hard games like in the pre-merge essentially, and Fu and Jake that you'd want to
Fu,
see?
obviously.
Yeah.
Very obviously. I was watching the part that I was watching from the background what Michael said about this, and I have to agree with him. Like Fu, David, I would love to see David play again. I think he got the short end of the stick, like in the last round being on blue. So because he was doing quite well up. That is correct. Correct information, Brian. You see how my mind works?
He hasn't voted for me yet. He's clearly up to something.
Clearly, that fucking idol of his. I'm so sorry, Matt. I am so sorry. What was I saying?
So you've chose Fu and David.
David. I think
Yeah.
he has a lot of untapped potential that we haven't gotten to see. And I just want him to come back and just get a really good run at the game where he goes like deep into the merge. I think that would be so much fun to watch, because I think having played twice now, he would have gotten a lot of like self-awareness about his game from those two times that he could use that to improve, and just because he's got it up here.
He does.
He's got a really good strategic mind. He just needs to like put that into action, and he'd be a phenomenal player.
I think he struggles on very similar things that me and you struggle on. Would be like social.
I agree. I think
would be like the social side of things, like getting the
we're all
connections.
a bit too excited to play.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we
That's very true.
focus on the relationship, so we focus more on the game, and that's all of our downfalls.
Yeah.
And part of me just wants to actually play with him, because I feel like we'd have a lot of fun together. Who else?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of everyone. I really want to see Ken play. I want to see Ken play and go far, because like everyone else, like everyone I've just said, he's got it up here. We haven't seen it from him because he went so early. I think he'd just be a lot of fun, because he's there for the game. He's not there to go on a camping trip. He's there to play. And I think, I don't know, I just feel like he could do so much. I'm trying to think who else went pre-merge.
A lot of people are saying Fiona.
Fiona would be so much fun to watch. Because I didn't really know much about her before watching the season, because we were never together. I would like to note that she was wearing my blue shirt. Just putting it out, my blue shirt. But watching her, she is so much fun. She's so much fun to watch. Same with Dan. Dan, I played with him. I didn't really get the TV side of it. I kind of got he's trying to play this big character side of him in person, but I didn't get the actual good effects of that until watching it. So I would love to watch him play again on the show.
Yeah. Cool. Before we wrap up, because I've been on here for 2 hours now. It's been a long one. That's okay. Yes. I'm sorry. I just want to see Fiona back. Okay, don't come for me.
To be fair, I was going to say.
It's a very common response.
It is, because
the four you've said. Fiona, Fu, David, Ken hasn't been said much, but I would like to see him again. And Dan, they're the four that we've heard a lot of. So
yeah.
Well, we don't talk about how my body works.
Amy.
Cass, do you have any questions or anything else you want to say?
Well,
before
I
we head
had
out?
a question for Tara, but she's gone.
I could
Um,
potentially answer it for her. Let's see.
I'm still going to ask anyway, and maybe she'll
Yeah.
like type it in the comments if she's still up. That is. Why did you not give me an OTT double negative 5 on my boot post on my boot episode?
Yeah, I might
was-
ask her about that because I actually believed your edit was sort of like chaotic and
How did I not get an OTT double negative at all? Like I was expecting like 7 of them. Like
yeah.
I was expecting so much more negativity on my end from the Edgic that I didn't get, and I was very shocked, a little bit disappointed because like
Well, you were the
right?
first one to get a negative in the
This is
season,
true.
and then
Pioneer.
Matt followed up the next episode.
This is true.
That's why you don't trust him. That makes sense. Then.
Exactly. He's stealing my
Yeah.
negatives.
You're stealing your negativity.
Exactly.
Brian just wants to say thank you for joining our silly old people games.
You're welcome, Brian. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having my silly young person here.
Because you were the youngest. Oh no, Jake was youngest.
Jake was the youngest. So Jake, I think he only turned 19. I think today might be Jake's birthday, according to Facebook.
Oh really?
Which-
Happy birthday,
Which is
Jake.
not accurate. Happy birthday, Jake. Yeah, no, he's like 6 months younger than me because I turned 19 back in February this year.
When you
that
played.
was. So
Oh, this year. Oh, okay. So
so last year,
you when you
I had
when you
just turned
played-
18,
yeah, okay.
and he was still
Yeah.
17. So he was still a little bit younger than me. He
Yeah.
still is a little bit younger than me.
Was it weird playing it? Like, obviously, you don't know what like being older is, so you
Yeah.
can't really answer this question. But playing with such like older people,
Well, I wasn't like shocked that I was playing with older people. I was very much
Yeah.
coming in knowing that like age was going to be this big barrier for me to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked that there was someone my age. I was more shocked that I wasn't the youngest. Because that's what I was kind of coming in expecting to be. And because of like all my org experience, I'm used to playing with a lot of older people. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like that shocking for me. I was expecting it. So it wasn't, yeah. I kind of feel like I made it out to be a bigger thing than what it actually was. But
I actually do have a question about that. Your org experience. Do you think that
Mhm.
helped you?
yes and no. Yes. Yes. We're going to go with yes.
Yep.
I think there were parts of it that maybe hindered me in the sense I had a little bit of overconfidence coming in that led to me being so chaotic later down the track. That is, I think it helped me in my early game because it helped me prioritize relationships and social bonds in a time where otherwise I would have just been like free balling it, like pew pew pew, like just
Yeah.
going for people at random, not really understanding the social dynamics as well as what I do because of my org experience. Yeah. And I think also
Yeah.
just like being able to interact with like older people in a way that makes me seem like well respected and mature, which I don't think always came through, but I think it came through enough, is what kind of got me over that hurdle in
Yeah.
Backyard Survivor.
All right. I guess with that we should end. Thank you so much for joining, Cass.
Thank you for having
Apologies
me.
to Tara. Apologies to
okay.
Tara for leaving a bit earlier.
Good.
It is 11:40 here in Melbourne, so it is quite
Christ.
late.
Yeah. Oh my god. Go get some sleep. Go to
Oh,
the
it's okay.
bathroom. Like I said.
It's fine. It is all good. Yes, thank you so much for everyone for listening. I guess we'll see you next week. With our 7th
I was
place
just
up.
about to spoil it.
Don't spoil anything. 'Cause I don't know. And look, actually, to be honest, I have no idea what's happened to Vince. No idea. I don't know if he's coming back or if it's just going to be me. I have no idea. But
Oh.
it's all good. Yeah. I look forward to potentially speaking to seventh place next week. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you so much. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.